In May 2026, a flight landed in Beijing that may have changed the course of the 21st century. Donald Trump didn't arrive for a standard diplomatic photo op. He brought with him the most powerful business delegation in American history. 18 CEOs, including tech titans like Elon Musk and Tim Cook, and the king of capital, BlackRock Larry Fink. This wasn't just a trade mission, it was a gathering of the real architects of the global economy. While the official press releases spoke of de-escalation, insiders suggest these were the final negotiations for a new global monetary order. To understand why the world's most powerful men were in one room, we have to look back 40 years, to a forgotten deal that built the modern world while systematically dismantling an empire. This is the story of the Plaza Accord and its modern successor, Plaza 2.0.
In 1985, the United States faced an existential crisis that mirrors our own today. A massive trade deficit, an unsustainably strong dollar, and American manufacturers who were being crushed by foreign competition. The Reagan administration called a secret meeting at the Plaza Hotel in New York. The players? France, West Germany, Japan, and the UK. The ultimatum given to Japan was simple: allow the yen to appreciate or face crippling tariffs that would lock Japanese goods out of the US market. Japan, having no choice, signed the deal. What followed was a financial execution. Within 2 years, the yen surged from 240 to 120 per dollar. The Japanese export machine stalled, and the government attempted to compensate by flooding the economy with cheap money. This created the largest asset bubble in history. At its peak in the late 80s, the land under the Imperial Palace in Tokyo was worth more than all the real estate in the entire state of California. When that bubble burst, Japan entered a lost decade of stagnation that continues to this day. China has spent decades studying this collapse, vowing never to let the Plaza ghost haunt Beijing.
During the 2026 summit, Xi Jinping reportedly referenced the Thucydides trap, a concept from ancient Greece. The pattern is simple. When a rising power like China threatens to displace a ruling power like the USA, war is almost inevitable. History shows that out of 16 such cases, 12 ended in devastating war. Xi was essentially telling Trump, "We both know how this ends. Let's try to write a different finale." The 18 CEOs in the room weren't just business leaders. They were the insurance policy for this different finale. But to avoid war, the two superpowers needed a new way to rebalance their economies without destroying China's export industry like they destroyed Japan's.
Why is this negotiation happening now? Look at the energy maps. Approximately 20% of the world's energy flows through the Strait of Hormuz. For months, the world has been depleting strategic oil reserves to compensate for regional instability, and those reserves are running dry. There is a massive disconnect in the markets. Demand suggests oil should be over $140 a barrel, yet it lingers around 100. This is the result of massive paper market manipulation. While the White House claims they are working with China to stop Iran's nuclear program, the reality is more cynical. China buys 90% of Iran's oil, effectively financing the very forces the USA claims to oppose. Russia and China are using Iran as a proxy to put a chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, forcing the US to the table to discuss a new monetary system.
Now, let's talk about the price tag of this peace.
The public portion of the Plaza 2.0 deal involves a staggering $1 trillion of Chinese capital flowing directly into the United States. Think about that number, 1 trillion. It is a sum so large it can fundamentally reshape the American landscape. But this isn't just a loan, it's a strategic takeover of the industrial heartland. We are talking about massive investments in electric vehicle batteries, green energy infrastructure, and high-tech manufacturing hubs across the Midwest, from Ohio to Michigan. For the US government, this is a win. It brings jobs back to the Rust Belt and fixes the crumbling infrastructure without raising taxes. But for China, it's a survival strategy. By building factories on American soil, they make their industry bulletproof against future tariffs and trade wars. This isn't a new idea. It is the exact same blueprint used by Japan in the 1980s. When political tension over Japanese imports reached a breaking point, companies like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan didn't stop selling to Americans. They simply moved their factories to Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama. They became American-made brands. Today, China is attempting the same move, but on a much more aggressive scale. They are not just building cars, they are trying to dominate the entire supply chain of the future. And this is where the 18 CEOs come back into the picture. BlackRock's Larry Fink isn't just an observer, he is a facilitator. BlackRock manages trillions in global assets, and they are the bridge between Beijing's capital and American projects. But $1 trillion doesn't come without strings, serious strings. To secure this investment, the United States is being asked to make concessions that were unthinkable just 5 years ago. First, the total removal of all semiconductor sanctions. China wants the high-end chips they need for AI, and they want them now. Second, a softening of the USA's stance on Taiwan. If China controls the global supply chain and they invest $1 trillion in America, they are essentially buying a neutrality agreement over the world's most sensitive geopolitical flashpoint. This is the $1 trillion trade-off. Jobs and infrastructure for America in exchange for China's dominance in the Pacific and the high-tech future.
Now, we reach the heart of the theory, the smoking gun that proves a global reset is underway. China will not revalue the yuan directly. That would destroy their exports and trigger a domestic collapse. Instead, the revaluation is happening through gold. Here is something the mainstream media rarely mentions. The United States holds over 8,000 tons of gold. But on the official government books, that gold is still valued at the 1973 price of just $42 per ounce.
Today, the market price is over $4,500. If the US government revalues its gold to match the market, it instantly adds over $1.2 trillion to its balance sheet. This isn't just accounting, it's a financial nuclear option that makes America's massive debt suddenly manageable. While the world watches Bitcoin or stocks, the smart money is moving physical metal. For the past 3 years, we have witnessed a massive migration of gold from west to east. Gold is currently one of the top US exports. Thousands of bars are moving from vaults in New York and London, through refineries in Switzerland, and directly into the central banks of Beijing and Moscow.
Historically, the nation losing its gold is an empire in decline. The nation accumulating it is the one preparing to set the new rules. China isn't just buying gold. They are building a gold shield to protect themselves when the dollar eventually loses its status as the world's only reserve currency. This is the mechanical core of Plaza 2.0. Instead of the yuan rising against the dollar, both currencies will devalue against gold. It's a managed retreat. By letting gold prices soar, both the US and China can devalue their currencies simultaneously. This wipes out the real value of their debts while keeping their relative trade balance stable. It is the perfect crime. The governments get a clean slate. The billionaires keep their assets, but the average person? They are the ones who will pay the price through the hidden tax of inflation.
We are standing at the threshold of a new financial era.
The 2026 Beijing summit wasn't just a business trip. It was the formal recognition of a bipolar world.
Whether the gold plaza theory is 100% accurate or just the most logical explanation of the data, the trend is undeniable. The era of the absolute dollar hegemony is ending. We are moving towards a system where physical assets and energy security matter more than paper promises and digital currency. History shows that in these massive monetary transitions, there are always winners and losers. The losers are those who remain trapped in the old system, holding cash, fixed income savings, and believing that tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. The winners will be those who recognize the pivot early. This means shifting toward real assets, gold, silver, strategic real estate, and shares in companies that control the global supply chain. Remember, when the government devalues the currency to pay its debts, they are effectively taking a piece of everything you've worked for. They won't call it a tax, they will call it economic adjustment. The 18 CEOs who flew to Beijing have already made their choice. They are diversifying, they are building factories, they are positioning themselves for the gold order. As the global realignment accelerates, the window of opportunity is closing. The world is changing, and the rules of money are being rewritten in secret hotels and closed-door summits. The question is no longer if the reset is happening, but which side of the new economy will you be on? Thank you for watching. If you found this investigation valuable, share it with someone who needs to see the bigger picture. The future belongs to those who see it coming.